What's up, YouTube? It's DC. Today we're going to be talking about MSTY and the latest dividend that they just paid. So let's dive right in. I got my MSTY tracker pulled up here, and we can see that the last dividend that they paid was $1.18. This is going to be paid tomorrow, August 1st, 2025. The current price of MSTY is $19.50, which isn't too great. We've kind of seen some crazy movement with the price in the last month or so. Originally, I did think that this is one of the months that we were going to start getting a $2 plus dividend, but we saw a big drop in MSTY. We saw it run from 400 to 450, and then it retraced most of that move. So I'm thinking we probably caught a little bit more upside on the call premiums that we sold, but at the same time, the synthetic long position dropped in value, kind of offsetting all of that gain that we had. So a little bit unfortunate, but $1.18. I'll tell you why it's not the end of the world here. So if we check out our dividend history chart, we can kind of see that $1.18 is pretty low. It's the lowest dividend that MSTY's ever paid out since inception. And I think a lot of people are starting to get concerned because the last three distributions we've seen declining dividends every single month. We had a pretty good payout in May where we got $2.37, but then you could see it went to $1.47, $1.24, and now $1.18. And that's concerning to see. I think when you invest in regular dividend stocks, people expect that the dividend is steadily growing over time. But with this covered call ETF, that was so hyped up, now we're kind of starting to see that there's a steep drop off in how much premium we're actually receiving in the form of distribution every month. I think a lot of people were looking at Bitcoin, seeing it break 100,000, and we're really expecting to get paid on this position. All right. Last time we saw Bitcoin break out and MSTR run, we kind of saw that we can get $4, $3 distributions, and I think we got a little bit spoiled and started expecting more money to be flowing in through the premium that we collect. Now, I don't think $1.18 is bad at all. As you can see in column D, the annualized yield is still 78%. Now, when we're comparing that to SPY and QQQ, averaging like 12 to 15% on the high side, 78% is great. Even if you consider taxes, maybe like 30% taxes, like this is still an amazing return on your investment. I think as long as the as long as the share price is staying stable around this $18 to $22 range, and we can consistently get distribution above $1, I think there's nothing to worry about. I know my position is kind of taking a hit in the last few weeks. It's the value of the position. It was $26,000 the last time I made a video, but now it's a little bit closer to $24,000, which is kind of in the ballpark of what my original average is. So it does seem like we haven't made any progress. We are taking a big hit on the share price. But as I said before, this isn't really a capital appreciation type of play. I'm not looking for the stock of MSTY to shoot up and go to $40 like it did last year. I'm looking for the share price to stay very consistent, and I'm looking to get paid every single month with these dividends. And I think the team's doing a great job at that so far. We're going to see some fluctuations in the share price. We're going to see some fluctuations in the distribution. And to continually get $1 distribution when MSTR's IV is basically the lowest it's been all year, I think is a pretty good sign. I don't think the team will let the distribution fall below $1. I think that's kind of the baseline of how they perform on a poor month. And I do think that, you know, once we kind of see MSTR trending upwards consistently again, we can start getting those distributions closer to the $1.50, $2 range. I definitely prefer, big distributions, but at the same time, there's some other things to keep in mind. They are trying to keep the share price consistently low, and I think that's better. If the share price is appreciating at the same time as the distribution, I think that's going to mess with our drip a little bit. We're not going to be able to be purchasing as many shares. So I kind of want to start accumulating more Misty around this $18, $19 range. I'm starting to think that it might be a good idea to start stockpiling some of the cash from the distribution and maybe wait until we see price dipping below $20 and then start kind of dollar cost averaging in there. I don't think I'm going to do that for the sake of, the YouTube videos and the sake of managing my portfolio. I think I'll just let it drip, especially because, this distribution is going to drip at, sub $20 anyway. But going forward, that is a good thought to have, and maybe to do that with other tickers if you're in the yield max world. So again, I don't think this is a concern. It is the lowest dividend that we've received so far. I'm sure some people are unhappy about that, but me, I'm very content with it as long as the share price is staying the same and I can continually accumulate shares. We just got to stick with the math here. I think if we hold on to these shares for the long run, they can really do some damage. I think 9 months in to the experiment is kind of when things start really picking up. That's kind of when we're projected to start getting 100+ shares on the drip, and that's kind of where it gets really exciting. I definitely like to see big distribution numbers every single month, but realistically, that's not how the market works. There's going to be some months where we're not doing so hot, and there's going to be some months where we're outperforming the market by a lot. So I'm not concerned about it. I am still a big fan of Misty. I'm going to continually hold my shares, and I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the content, please comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time.